Even who's this? Oh, all right.
Sorry, I'm not doing it.
Señor, suelte a la niña, por favor. Caballero, suelte a la niña, va a ser detenido. Señora, no vamos a hacer eso, no vamos a pelear.
Okay, so there's a language barrier here, and this is gonna be mostly in Spanish. But this was viral today because an ICE official slams a woman to the floor. Okay, and he was relieved of duty. Okay, because of this altercation. And I'm just starting from the beginning. This is the full clip. A lot of people didn't see the full clip of what transpired before the slamming. That doesn't justify the slamming. It's just full context for what happened. Nothing justifies body slamming unarmed people. Okay? Nothing justifies it. But I want to show the whole thing so we can have a conversation.
No, así no es que trabaja esto.
No, pero...
Así no es que trabaja esto. Hágame el favor.
Excuse me.
Suerte.
No. You have to push you? No.
Caballero, no haga eso. Just grab her, pull her away. Pull her away. ¡Suerte! ¡Suerte, señora! ¡Suelta a la niña! ¡Suelta a la niña!
Yeah, I don't think I let my wife do this if it's me. If I know I'm undocumented and I got cops grabbing me up, I don't think I keep my wife trying to hold on to me while the cops are trying to take me into custody. I think for the safety of my wife and my kids that are there, I'm like, baby, we'll get this sorted out. I love you. Let me go with them. We don't need you to get hurt in this process. Now, I don't have a translator here. I can't tell you what he's saying. It does not appear on the body language for anybody displaying that type of response to his wife. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying what I would do, what I would hope I would do, because I haven't had to do it. But I hope I would be thinking about the safety of my wife and my kids. Because it's about 10 ICE officials. You're not going to win this battle. And all that's going to happen is your wife might get hurt. And she's putting her hands on cops. We'll come back to this.
I have what he's on the camera.
¡Suelta la niña! ¡Suelta la niña!
Ya.
Señora, venid hasta acá. One more time. Señora, coja la niña.
Señora, Señora, cálmese.
Porque con la vida de mi marido con el peligro.
Okay, so mom is obviously very upset, very emotional. We can all understand that. We're human beings, right? We understand emotion. So the officer that's picked her up and carrying her down the aisle, down the hallway, so a lot of interaction between those two. Let's keep going.
So we have to stay back.
No puede grabar adentro. You guys cannot go inside.
Okay, we're just gonna have to wait.
Adiós.
Okay, so they went into the room, they come outside the room, and conversation's over. It's like, adios. I know that means goodbye. My 3 years of Spanish class, I know that's goodbye. Okay, and she's not trying to hear that.
Adiós.
Oh my God.
One more time. Señora, coja la niña.
I rewinded it because I wanted to see why'd he fall.
Adiós. Adiós.
Oh my God.
Press, move out, move out.
Move! Out of the building. Adiós! Get her out of the building! Get her out! Let's go! Look, wait. I'm gonna be real with you. You got one more fucking time. Stop getting in the way. One more time, you will get arrested. You too.
I wasn't in anyone's way. I wasn't in anyone's way.
An ICE officer has been relieved of his current duties after he was caught on video shoving a woman into a wall, then pushing her to the ground. It happened inside an immigration courthouse in New York yesterday. And before we play this, we do want to warn you, it's disturbing.
Adiós. Adiós. Adiós.
Oh my God.
CNN's Gloria Pazmino is joining us now with more on this. That video is indeed quite hard to watch. Gloria, there's also children standing very close to her and behind her. What more can you tell us about what's happened since this happened?
Yeah, they're the children of this family, the children of this woman who in this video can be seen essentially pleading with this immigration officer. When you listen and you watch that very disturbing video, you can hear that she is asking the officer to take her instead. And she's trying to explain to him that if her husband, who's just been taken into custody by immigration officers, is deported back to Ecuador, their home country, he risks being killed. That's exactly what unfolded in immigration court here in New York City yesterday. And I think it's important to just mention that we are seeing incidents like this one almost on the daily basis here in New York City. People who are showing up to court to go to their legally mandated court appearances and often being taken into custody by immigration officers in the hallways of that courtroom. Now, this incident has gotten a lot of criticism and a lot of attention from local elected officials here in New York City, including the Democratic mayoral nominee Zohran Mamdani, who just had a press conference here a short while ago, standing with members of the state assembly and the city comptroller Brad Lander, who was there yesterday when this incident unfolded. And it's become essentially a flashpoint in the city's race for mayor. He was critical of Mayor Eric Adams, pointing out the fact that he has been willing to cooperate with the Trump administration when it comes to immigration enforcement. And of course, calling out his main opponent, former Governor Andrew Cuomo, for not saying much about this incident. I also want to mention that we got some new information in the last few hours from the Department of Homeland Security. We've learned that this officer has actually been placed on some sort of modified duty. He was relieved of his duties, according to a spokesperson for the department, saying, quote, the officer's conduct in this video is unacceptable and beneath the men and women of ICE. ICE law enforcement are held to the highest professional standards, and this officer is being relieved of current duties as we conduct a full investigation. It's also sort of interesting to point out that we have been seeing so many of these types of videos, not just here in New York City, but across the country as the Trump administration ratchets up its immigration enforcement. And it's not very often that we see such a strong reaction from the Department of Homeland Security now saying that they are going to investigate this incident. Here in New York, we've also just learned from the office of Congressman Dan Goldman, who has been witnessing a lot of these interactions down at the federal court in Lower Manhattan, that they are referring this incident for federal prosecution to the U.S. Attorney's Office. So they also are calling for an investigation and potential federal charges against this officer.
Yeah, it really is something to have that video from start to finish and see how it all unfolded. It is crystal clear there. Gloria Pezmino, thank you.
I'm not that surprised this happened. If you look at the video content, you can see that the officer was stressed the hell out initially dealing with this situation. It was volatile to begin with. That's how it looked to me. It looks to me like maybe somebody needs to take some time off. Before we go any further, let me let you know the Tim Black Wolfpack is dedicated, committed, 10 toes down to reporting the truth, unbiased, and not working for any political party. If that sounds good to you, go to jointimblack.com, become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack. Yeah, because he looked to be like he was not calm and collected when he was handling this situation. She was loud, I'm sure. Emotions always are high when you do something like this. I don't think her actions are that different than what is typical. And if this is what typically happens, I think people get loud. I think people don't want to see someone taken. And they get this way, you can't body slam people. You can't, he should have never so aggressively pushed her. I don't think he meant to slam her on the ground. It looked like her leg got caught on that corner of the wall, and she fell and he fell because he was holding her. That's what it looked like to me. But no one cares. No one cares because she cried. And they don't think she should have to go anyway, or they don't believe her husband should be deported. They don't think that, we should have a border. They think anybody should be able to be here, and it should be against the law for people to be deported who aren't citizens. That's what they think. So it doesn't really matter. And her being upset, they don't look at her. What I'm saying is, after doing this show so many times, and so much footage that I've seen, when people are getting arrested, and there were people around who are getting loud with the cops. I've seen other people get arrested. She didn't even get arrested, dog. If you put your hands on a cop, you keep getting in the cop's face, they'll tell you a couple times, look, you need to back up or you're going too. And she wanted to go. She kept saying, take me too. She wanted to go. In fact, she wanted to go instead of him. That's what she said. I just covered way too many stories, man, for this story to really upset me, because I seen mothers and fathers and spouses in black families and white families do the same thing, and they just get locked up or body slammed or tased. That's what I see. And you know what I never saw? I never saw the officers that did it lose their job for that shit. Hell, half the time when they shoot people, they don't lose their jobs. Like 1% of cops who shoot people don't get as much trouble as this guy got in just for pushing someone. So if the Democrats are so upset about this, man, wait till you see what they did to these other people. I don't know if you've been around here, Johnson, but I've seen people get body slammed. Man, wait till you see what the other shit they've done. You should have saw what they did to Eric Garner. Yeah, you should have been here for that when they choked him to death. They choked him out. You should have saw that when 3 officers jumped on top of him for selling cigarettes. Individual cigarettes. Oh, you should have been here for that. You guys would have really lost your mind then. None of those officers went to jail for that. Did you know that? Hell, they didn't even lose their jobs. They got promotions. They got promotions. And the time they were off, they got compensated for it. Did you know that? See, I've been doing this job too long, Johnson. And I know you're going to say, Tim, this is apples to oranges. Nah, man, it's really not, man. It's not apples to oranges. It's law enforcement telling somebody to do something, them not doing it or whatever. They say you're not listening, and then law enforcement going ham. Law enforcement going ham, and that's what happened here. Now, I could say it's difficult job to do. I wouldn't want to have to deport people. I wouldn't want to have to put hands on people. I wouldn't want to separate a wife from their husband, a parent from their kids, or kids from their parents. I wouldn't want to do that. That's why I'm not doing that job. But every day, Johnson, every day, every hour, it's happening to people that look like you and me. It's happening to U.S. citizens every day, every hour. What do you think happens when people go to jail? I'm just asking, guys, what do you think happens when people go to jail? Same fucking thing happens. People think they're innocent too. And when you come, and what they're not telling you is when you go to these hearings, they're waiting out there because if you don't get asylum, it's an order to be deported, and they're expediting the process. That's all they're doing. If you go to your hearing, they're going to the hearing. So they're doing everything, going to the hearing, and they're not getting the outcome that they want. And then ICE is there for those who don't get that outcome, and they take them into custody. Right? Fam, if you go to court tomorrow, you, person watching this video, who's saying Tim Black, you're wrong. If you go to court tomorrow, say you go to court tomorrow for anything, drunk driving, jaywalking, loaded tickets, anything, get into a fight with your neighbor after watching a football game, anything, right? Wife says you were threatening her, or neighbor says you threatened, anything. And let's say the judge says, no bail, take them into custody. Guess what? They take you into custody. It don't care if your kids is there. They don't care if you got a job waiting for you. They don't care if you got a sick mom at home. Nobody cares about you. And what I'm saying is, it's disrespectful, man. As much as Black Americans be gone through the system, it's disrespectful of those watching who critical of me to not recognize the fact that maybe I've seen this 100,000 times. And maybe it's happening to U.S. citizens all the damn time, and it's disgusting and insulting to us that the level of victimization, the level of outrage is not displayed for all of us. There are people that get treated like this who didn't sneak into the country, who are not here illegally, who pay the salaries of them damn officers, who are getting this shit happen to them for having expired licenses, bad tags, lost their insurance, mom died, they couldn't afford this, they couldn't afford that. And they're behind in bills. There are all types of nonviolent offenders in our justice system. Man, over half, 60% of people in jail didn't do anything to their body physically. They're there for nonviolent offenses. Do you understand that? We're the mass incarcerator, baby. All that being said, I do feel that this officer needs some time off. I don't know if he needs to be cut forever, but he definitely needs some time off because I don't think he handled this well. I think he let this woman get to him for whatever reason. Maybe he needs some mental health. I don't think the way he was behaving was what you need to see in a person doing that job. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it takes a toll on you when you're breaking people's hearts, when you're got kids crying and yelling at you, when people are afraid and when people are emotional like that. Maybe it's difficult to do that job. I can only imagine. I wouldn't want to do that job. I don't care if I'm right, wrong, or not. I wouldn't want to do that job. I don't want to. I wouldn't want to inflict that type of pain on people and have to be the bearer of such bad tidings, okay? Because that's his job. That's everyone's job there. That's their job, to take those people into custody. So I wouldn't want to do it. And I'm not saying, so I stand on everything I'm saying, but I also feel like he should have handled it better. How is a wife going to behave? How's a husband going to behave? How are kids going to behave? I can't imagine. So what I'm saying is, if he's acting this way in this situation, and I'm sure this has probably happened before, because when you take people unexpectedly, you're splitting up a family unexpectedly, the reaction has to be negative. Who's like, yeah, my dad, see you, dad. All right, fine, no problem. Thank you, sir. Good work, sir. Thank you. Everybody's upset. Everybody's yelling. Everybody's crying. Voices get raised. People resist to a certain extent. They didn't have this on their bingo card today. They prayed for a different outcome. And then this happens. And if your reaction is to put hands on them, and that happens, and it's on camera, well, look, dog, hey, man, it becomes a PR nightmare for ICE. And the ICE assistant secretary said, this is not the type of conduct we want displayed. And basically, translation, this shit on camera, this make us look bad, you gotta go, fam. This was on camera, this makes us look bad, you gotta get up out of here. Because she was not hurt, she was not tased, she was not shot. I've seen way worse. And all I'm saying is, and she's free to be the parent of those kids. Because if they'd have took her in custody, then the kids go, who knows where the kids go, like a whole bunch of shit. I'm just saying, it could have been worse. I've seen worse happen to U.S. citizens. And I know there's people that don't care about that. Tim, it's not right. What they do isn't right. Dog, the whole system ain't right. Whole system's not right. Our systems are not right. Biden should have never let all these people in here. What good is letting a bunch of people in here, then we got to take them out. We got to spend all this money. You know, they're spending $1 million a day in D.C. National Guard is $1 million. National Guard plus all those federal agencies, that shit ain't free. They're spending $1 million a day in D.C. right now for a little more than a show. Okay? Yeah, I don't know if you know what's spending $1 million. So they've been there for how long? A month? $30 million. You know what DC could have did with $30 million? I don't know. Something. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got. Yeah. So I'm not sad. So for anybody out there for people that stuck around long enough, just remember, I'm not saying it's okay to body slam people. It's not. And I think that cop, that ICE agent, I think he might need a break. I think it's safe to say he might need a break. He might need a break. And I think that. I think that. I think it was unfortunate. That should not have happened. And I don't know what people think jailing people looks like. I don't know what people think serving warrants look like. Somebody come get you out your house. Your wife is there. I don't know what movie you watched, but in real life, I got a feeling anytime people get served warrants around family, it's a scene. I don't know what movie you think life is, but when it happens to anybody, and people are just not expecting that, it's different when you say, I got to go to court, I got to go to jail. You know what? I could get locked up. Kind of get your ducks in a row. You ever had a friend you had to take them to court? Like, yeah, man, I think they might keep me, dog. Look, man, here go my keys. Give these to my girl if they keep me. I don't know if they're doing that. I've been there. Nobody else, just me? Only person that knows what I'm talking about? So anyway, let's not act like we never been here before. Let's not act like goofy liberals who don't know how the system works. Let's not pretend not to know that America locks up a lot of people. We're real good at it. We the best at, do you realize we the best at locking people up? For some fucking reason, when it comes to migrants, everybody forgets the process. Everybody forgets what happens. Everyone all of a sudden is appalled that this is how they do shit. They're wearing masks. They're wearing jump outs. They're in unmarked cars. And every black person who been around since the 80s and the 90s is like, for real, dog. That lives in the inner city is like, oh, for real? You ain't never seen this shit? You ain't never seen it? It's like people that think worldwide wrestling was real. Like, you didn't know this was fake? You didn't know? Where you been? Really? You didn't know this what cops do? What you thought they did? You didn't know cops are in plain clothes a lot of you didn't know that? Goofy? You didn't know that cops wear plain clothes? I mean, really, the level of detached from reality some of my progressive friends are. How delusional you gotta be to not know cops come in plain clothes and plain vehicles sometimes. You don't know that? Really? It's like we got a whole country of dummies who just discovered how police operate. But when it was happening to poor people or middle class or working class people or black people in any neighborhood for the last 50 fucking years, no one knew, no one cared. And now all of a sudden, it's a big story, it's a big to-do. Well, excuse me for not being traumatized by a regular occurrence. Very regular for people to be taken into custody at court, man. Have you ever been to court? You ever seen people get taken into custody at court? Now, I have seen some dramatic things on court TV, like the father, the testimony, the person leaps over the seat, attacks the person that killed the mother. That shit you don't see every day. But this shit, where somebody gets taken into custody and people are crying, that's normal, John. That's normal, Johnson. I mean, come on, grow up. Grow up. Grow up. All right. You make me out to be the worst person on earth. Tim, you're black. Jesus Christ, you have no compassion. No, man, I'm not sheltered like you. I'm not detached from reality. Cops get pissed and do shit when they told you not to do something like 4 times. They do shit. They lay hands on people. They body slam people. They tase people. They lock up grandmas. Where have y'all been? They locked up the 90-something-year-old woman got locked up. I seen a 90-something-year-old woman get locked up. I saw a protester standing in front of a cop protesting with a sign. He didn't get out the way. They pushed him. He busted his head open on the concrete and died. You see it? Remember this? This is only like 4 years ago. Where were you guys? Stuff be happening all the time. That's it. I'm done. I'm going to keep it moving, man. I'm going to keep it moving. Because there are people you can't convince of reality. And all they say is, but it's not right. America has these way of doing things. It's been doing it that way. Like, it's been happening. It's like you just discovered. It's like you just discovered boxing. Oh, that person. It's like you just watched the UFC fights for the first time. Oh, that guy's using his feet. Jesus Christ, he punched that guy. That guy was laying down he was on the ground, Johnson, and he's punching him. He's grounding and pounding him. My God, yes, out of boxing matches, UFC, this is what they do. But the guy kicked him. He kicked him. Yes, that's what they do. That's UFC. It's like a person seeing the UFC fights for the first time. And used to watch the boxing, which is already very, saying it's also very violent anyway, if the boxers know what they're doing. And it's like for the first time, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Yeah, but watch some more of it. Watch some more of it and then go watch boxing and you'll be like, oh. There we go, perfect. Perfect analogy, folks. Watch the UFC for a month, then go back to watch boxing. Right? And you'll be like, oh. That's how I am when I see this. Because I've been watching UFC fights. Okay? I've been watching UFC fights. And I don't think you understand what getting your ass kicked look like. All right, I'm going to keep going, guys. Let's keep going. We good? We good here? Let's keep going, Johnson. He's kneeling on his neck. Man, Jesus, who said that? He's kneeling on his neck. Yeah, always. I just think people just, the shock. I mean, it is. Hands, they be laying hands, feet, elbows, to the nose, to the face, to the eye, to the kidney. Man, just Jesus Christ. Okay.
The Tim Black Show streams Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wolfpack.